Bon dia and welcome everyone to the 7th lesson of Catalan from scratch beginner level. In this video we will see the verb to be in Catalan, or as you may already know, ser and estar, the two ways to refer to the verb to be. We will see the differences between the two, and we will see also when to use one or another. But first of all, and as always, let's see the solutions from the last lesson. The first exercise was about spelling words, so I will just spell the list of words that I gave you so that you can compare it to the way you spelled them and so that you know the way to pronounce these letters. So for forn, the spelling is F-A-R-N. For corda, C-A-R-D-A. For ish, E-I-X. For samarreta, S-A-M-A-R-R-E-T-A. For pany, P-A-N-Y. For babau, B-A-B-A-U. The second exercise was about identifying the vowel sounds and not the vowels themselves. So for the first word, clau, the way this vowel sounds are just A and U. So there is no difference there. Same thing for the second word, llum. It is just the sound of a U. Llum. However, for the third word, estiu, that E is not actually an E when it sounds, but a neutral vowel because it is not stressed. So you say estiu. The I and the U are pronounced as an I and the U. So E-I-U. Pèsol. As you can see, the accent is open. It is pointing towards the left. So that means it is an open E. So you pronounce it as E. And that O is actually pronounced as a U because it is not stressed. So you say pèsol. E-U. On the next word, that E is also a neutral vowel because it is not stressed, and the U sounds like a U. Undo. Undo. A-U. On the next word, diners, the I sounds like an I, and that E is a closed E. Listen closely to the way I pronounce it. Diners. Is. E. If it was an open E, it would sound like E. Diners. That's not how I pronounce it. So lastly, the word supa has the sound U, supa, and A. So that O sounds like a U because it is not stressed, and the A sounds like an A. Supa. So with that said, let's get to the content of the video and talk a bit about the verb ser. The verb ser has a formal version, which is essa, but it is mostly used in formal Catalan, written specifically. You could use it conversationally, but it would sound like a bit too much, so I advise you not to. If you do want to learn it, however, don't worry because the conjugations are exactly the same. The only thing that changes is the infinitive and the gerund. So when do you use the verb ser? The most common use of it is when you are describing traits of objects, being, or people. It's about things that define that person of that object. Things that are not going to change soon, or that are not easy to change. For example, on a person, it would be an aspect or a trait of that person's personality. You also use it for occupations, that is, if you study or you work. for possessions and to define relationships between things or people. You use it as well to tell the time and to define location. For Spanish speakers, it is a really common mistake to use the verb estar to define location, because in Spanish you use estar, but in Catalan you use the verb ser to define location. So let's see an example for each of these cases. First, to describe traits of objects and beings, the first sentence is Na Clara es simpática. Clara is funny. Na Clara es simpática. This is just the way she is. This is just her personality. She might be in a bad mood today. She might be sad sometimes. But she is in general funny. It is just how she is. So you use the verb ser. La habitació es petita. The room is small. La habitació es petita. The size of the room is not likely to change. So you use the verb ser because it is something that will remain as such. Then for occupations, soc pilot. I'm a pilot. Soc pilot. La taronja és teva for possessions. The orange is yours. La taronja és teva. And for relationships, ells són amics. They are friends. Ells són amics. Now if you want to say that it is 3 o'clock to tell the time, 3 o'clock is són les 3. It is 3 o'clock. Són les 3. And lastly, to define location, on ets? Jo sóc al restaurant. On ets? Jo sóc al restaurant. Where are you? I am at the restaurant. So, on both cases you use the verb to be for the same thing. First you're asking about a specific location of a person, and then you specify the location you are in. So for both cases you use the verb ser. Now when do you use the verb estar? Well, you use it mostly to describe temporary states. So if you want to put an adjective into something that describes the state it is in momentarily, or you want to describe the feelings of someone, then you use the verb estar. You also use it before gerunds to express that an action is being done. I am doing, you are doing. I am cooking, you are running. You also use it in combination with the verb haver plus estat, which is the participle of the verb estar, to indicate what caused something or what was the perpetrator of a specific event. And then there are many specific cases in which you use the verb estar, but I didn't think it was a good idea to include them all here because it would make it very complicated. But this is an example of a very specific case, which is to define relative positions of an object compared to where it should be placed. You will see soon what I mean with this. So let's see an example of each case. First, with adjectives to describe temporary states. Estic trist y tu estàs distreta. I am sad and you are distracted. Estic trist y tu estàs distreta. This means that right now I am sad. Might be today or might be at this specific moment, but I feel sad. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not yesterday, but this is the way I feel now. So in this case you use the verb estar. Y tú estás distreta, and you are distracted. To be distracted is not something you are born with and you keep being distracted your whole life. This is not part of someone's personality. This is just the way someone's acting at a specific moment. So you use the verb estar. Estic trist y tú estàs distreta. I am sad and you are distracted. So before gerunds to express an action being done, estem cuinant la pasta. We are cooking the pasta. Estem cuinant la pasta. So the gerund here is cuinant, cooking, and to say that we are cooking, you use the verb estar. Then to define the perpetrator of the cause of something, no m'he menjat els deures, ha estat el gat. No m'he menjat els deures, ha estat el gat. I didn't eat the homework, it was the cat. I didn't eat the homework, it was the cat. You are saying that the perpetrator of that was the cat in this case, so you use the verb estar. And then one of those specific examples that I mentioned is el quadre està tort. The painting is tilted. So the painting is supposed to be straight. So compared to that position, now it's tilted. In those cases, you use the verb estar. Like I said, there are more examples, and this is already a bit fuzzy to understand, but I included it so that you expect them to show up now and then. So let's see just an example on how you would conjugate these verbs on present simple for the indicative mode. You should know that both verbs are irregular. So even though they belong to the first conjugation, the first ending, the one that ends in AR, only estar for AR and ER for ser, they don't really follow those rules. But as you can see, estar is a bit easier to learn because it keeps the root. The verb ser, however, doesn't keep any root, and between soc and ets, for example, no letter remains. So for the first person you would say jo soc or jo estic, and then for the next ones, tu ets, tu estàs, ell, ella és, ell, ella està, nosaltres som, nosaltres estem, vosaltres sou, vosaltres esteu, ells, elles són, ells, elles estan. And then I also included the impersonal forms. The infinitive is ser and estar, and then estar. The participle for ser is sigut, even though in some places, I believe the Balearic Islands, you would use the participle estat, just like for the verb estar. So both verbs in these regions would have the participle estat, same one. And the gerund for ser and estar would be sent and isn't, isn't being for the formal form and sent for the common one, and for estar it would be estant. So let's see some examples mixing up with these verbs. Ell és melancòlic, però avui està content. Ell és melancòlic, però avui està content. He is a melancholic person, but today he is happy. So as you can see in English, you use is in both cases, but in Catalan you use different verbs. Let's see the first part of the sentence. Ell és melancòlic. He is a melancholic person. I am describing him as a person. This is part of his personality. So you use the verb ser in Catalan. Ell és melancòlic. But in the second part, you say, però avui està content. But today, he is happy. This is the way he is feeling today. So, maybe yesterday he was not, maybe tomorrow he will not, hopefully yes, but today he is happy. So, you use the verb estar in Catalan. So, second sentence, on és el tren? Ja són les 12. Where is the train? It is already 12 o'clock. On the first use of the verb ser, you are referring to a location, so that's why you use that one and not estar. On és el tren? Where is the train? It would be not correct to say on està el tren. That is not correct. That's using the wrong verb. And the second part of the sentence is ja són les 12. Ja són les 12. It is already 12 o'clock. You are giving the time. So to give the time, you use the verb to be. In English, obviously, but in Catalan you use the verb ser. Qui ha trencat el vidre? Has estat tu? Qui ha trencat el vidre? Has estat tu? Who broke the glass? Was it you? In this case, you are asking about the perpetrator who did something, so you use the verb estar. It is not a literal translation from English because we don't express it like in the past, like in English, was it you? If you translate it literally from Catalan to English, has estat tu, it would be something like, have you been? But this doesn't make sense in English, so you say, was it you? However, it is the way you express it in Catalan. So next, el gat d'en Schrödinger és viu i mort alhora. El gat d'en Schrödinger és viu i mort alhora. Schrödinger's cat is dead and alive at the same time. So being dead and alive is something that is difficult to change. It is part of who you are right now. Sure, you might die tomorrow, but most of the days you don't really expect to die. So you use the verb ser for both states, being dead and alive. Estic buscant les claus, però no sé on són. Estic buscant les claus, però no sé on són. I am looking for the keys, but I don't know where they are. So, on the first case, you have that verb next to a gerund because it's something that you are doing. It is an action that is taking place. So, you use the verb estar. I am looking, estic buscant. On the next use of to be, you are referring to a place, a location. I don't know where they are. They are somewhere. And you used to be in English, but in Catalan, like I said, you use the verb estar for locations. Spanish speakers, please don't mistake this with the verb estar. So this is a new vocabulary that we've seen. Maybe I missed something, hopefully not, but I will go over it so that you know how to pronounce it. Simpàtica, funny. Petita, taronja. Pilot, restaurant. Trist, distreta. Deures, quadre. Tort, melancòlic. Content. Vidre, viu, mort. So that was it. Now I give you some sentences to complete for the next video. You just have to see what case these are and if you should use the verb ser or you should use the verb estar. Look at the examples that we've seen through the video. Look at when you should use one or another, and you shouldn't have any problems with this. And that was it. If you liked it, give it a like. If you're not subscribed, do so and you'll get more videos. And if you know someone that might be interested in learning Catalan, then send them this video. And yeah, thank you so much. See you on the next video, and adeu-siau.